Hi guys, I am back, and I know it's been way too long, months in fact, but I promise you that even though I have not been recording, I have indeed been Bible journaling, and my pages are just filling up with very meaningful text and journaling and artwork. And I look forward to sharing with you what I have been doing in maybe a flip through one of these days. But today, I have a process video for the verse in 2 Corinthians 3, verse 18, that says, "We all, with unveiled faces, are looking as in a mirror at the glory of the Lord and are being transformed into the same image from glory to glory. This is from the Lord, who is the Spirit." Now, what you have seen me do, I'll just catch up with the process. I am doing what is technically called the smooshing technique. Yes, that's the technical term. It's also known as the packaging technique. So it's literally packaging that I took from the trash and put some ink on. So dabbed it straight onto my ink pad and spritzed it with water, which makes the ink kind of bead and pool up into these little puddles, so that when you press it into the paper, it absorbs kind of in these pools and puddles and creates this really cool splattery mixed media look in such a simple way. So I love that. I then had to hit it with my heating tool to make sure that it was completely dry, because next I do this embossing, this heat embossing on top. And it's a Dahlia stamp from Stampin' Up. And once it was dry, I went ahead and inked it up with Versamark, and then put the embossing powder on and hit it with the heat tool. And don't forget to let your heat tool heat up before you use it, so that it doesn't curl your paper too much or burn your paper. Even if you sit it there for too long, that can happen. So preheat it and then watch as it melts. It just creates this beautifully subtle heat embossed image on top of the splatter. You can see it there starting to shine or shimmer, because it's like a glossy finish when it melts. And it's just so pretty and elegant, and that's what I was going for. So I'm layering up here. I started with the splattering, and then I did the heat embossing, and on top of that, I'm going to place a vellum heart. And I have this special vellum adhesive that for some reason is like magic, and you can't see it once you put it down. And I just love that. So I've put down this vellum heart, and it's going to take the place of an O in the word love. These letters are just from my stash. You know what? I think a friend gave them to me, and they've been sitting around. So here I am finally using them. I tried the same adhesive on these sort of like transparency type paper. It's a little heavier than vellum. And it worked, but it didn't hold quite as well. So you'll see I just add a couple staples in here to hold them nice and firm. And the V and the E, I don't know if you can tell, but I flipped the image over to make the colors a little more subtle, a little more pale, because this page is kind of light in tone. So I preferred the look of that. And you'll see here, I think shortly, I'm going to use my Tim Holtz stapler. It has those micro mini staples that are just darling, and I don't at all mind sticking them through to the other side. I find that it's hard to actually Bible journal both sides of a page, and maybe I will change my mind once I get some gesso and I'm able to prime one side to make sure that there's no bleed through or anything coming through. But right now I am avoiding doing artwork on both sides of a page. So having the staples go through is not going to bother me. Now, the little quote here that I'm going to use is actually a quote from Bob Goff, who I've been listening to a lot lately. He has a few books out. The first one is Love Does, and the second is Everybody Always. And his message is how we are to love everybody always, and that love is an action word, not something we talk about or think about. It's something we do. So as apparent in his title, Love Does. And he is incredibly inspiring. It's just so much for me. And so this is a quote that just struck me and sat with me, and I wrote it down, and I don't know, it just touched my heart. So his quote is, Jesus sees who we are turning into, and we are turning into love. And at first I'm like, what? Is that true? But look at this verse. It says that we are being transformed into the same image of Jesus. And who is what is Jesus? What is God? He is love. So what are we turning into? We are turning into love. And of course, we're not doing this on our own. It says we walk close to God and follow his guidance and his nudging in our lives and in our hearts. We are turning into his likeness, into love, to those around us. And he even goes a step further and says that when we look at other people that we're around, the people that we are called to love, we don't want to tell them who they are. Just like God doesn't look at our ugly and the messes and the mistakes that we make. He sees who we are becoming. So when we look at others, don't see who they are. Don't tell them who they are. Tell them who they're turning into. And somehow when we speak words of beautiful truths of who people could be or should be, or who we are turning into, it drives us to be that. We want to be that, and we start to believe that, and we actually turn into it. So I don't know. This is just my hope and prayer for myself and for those that I am around, that I can tell people who they are turning into, and that we would all be turning into love. So you'll see I kind of sifted through a pot of bits, this and that, like scraps, little leftover images and things from scrapbooking and journaling and whatever. And I decided to look for some butterflies, because what else represents transformation better than a butterfly? And I decided on these little transparency butterflies that I made years ago, and just still had in my stash. And they are StazOn ink stamped onto actual transparencies and then hand cut out. And they were a little sticky, so I had to use an eraser to get that ick off, but they worked out great with some little glue dots, and they're down with their wings still kind of sticking up, which I love. And then down at the bottom here, I just trace over that quote, which I'll read one more time here. It says, Jesus sees who we are turning into, and we are turning into love. Oh, it's just so heartwarming. Yes, Lord, please, when you look at me, can you see Jesus? Can you see the love of Jesus? And that is so what I want to mirror out into the world, right? That's what we all want to be to those around us, especially in this dark time. And it is a challenge to find ways to be loving right now. And I am praying for them and looking for them and asking God to help me to love those around me in new creative ways right now. So I hope you enjoyed this process video. You see at the end here, I finish writing over the pencil here with my 0.02 micron pen, which is a fantastic pen because it doesn't bleed through. It's waterproof. It's just a great pen. And then I erase the pencil lines because I don't do anything freehand. I have to have something to guide me, so pencil is always there. And then I go looking for a tab, and I'm not sure which one to use, pink or green, and I go with the green. And then after getting that on, I start trying some washi tapes just to add like a little framing at the top and bottom. And you'll see I put down kind of a brightish pink and a bold black stripe. And it looks like that's what I decided on. But after I quit recording, I gently pulled them off and replaced them with something a little more elegant, I guess, or subtle, which is more the vibe that I was going for. And at one point, I will eventually find a little word to stick on the tab, likely transformation or love or something like that, just so that when I'm flipping through, I can find keywords on my tabs, which I enjoy to have, or I like to have. So I hope that you enjoyed this process video and that you have been continuing to journal over these summer months and these COVID months where we've been kind of cooped up. It's just so good for the soul to create with the Creator and to spend time meditating on His Word. It's good for us, right? So take care until next time. Hopefully it won't be quite so long from now. We'll see you soon. Bye.